Hello, my name is James Follent, and I have spent the last 10 weeks working from home and working remotely amongst COVID-19 restrictions in Sydney, Australia. And I thought I'd share a little bit about what the experience has been like. 70 days at home with family has been an interesting learning experience as we learn to negotiate different patterns. Fortunately, I work in IT, so a lot of stuff that I do can be done remotely with the technology that we have in 2020, which is something I am appreciative of when I reflect on the place we would have been a decade ago. Learning to stream church online for everybody whilst we can't physically meet together has been something that is a milestone. Thinking about how to record the sermon, put all the music together, compile that all, export it, and then have it ready to be streamed each Sunday morning at 10 a.m, which has been an experience in and of itself, as well as working two different jobs, seeing how they're impacted, one at a retail company within the travel space and the other working for a not-for-profit, and seeing how work fluctuates and changes at the not-for-profit. A lot of our work has had to be taken online with events and fundraising, as well as the work in the field has also gotten innovative as we work around the restrictions in place in each country, but also seek to serve our partners and those who are the most poor and vulnerable. And in travel retail, it's also been really interesting because it has been like a 90% drop off in customers in airports because people aren't flying anywhere, borders are closed, people aren't traveling like they used to, which is something that creates a time of uncertainty and trying to understand how long this will last for. There are things in the routine that I still enjoy, like making a cup of coffee using my AeroPress each day around 9 a.m, a good way of anchoring that as part of consistency to know that I'm starting my work day. It's also been difficult thinking about what the future looks like, preparing for a wedding in October and trying to figure out what a guest list looks like amongst restrictions that are ever changing about how many people you can have together in one place. I'm hedging and predicting we might end up in an interesting situation where we're able to have less people at the church for a ceremony for our wedding than we are able to have at a wedding reception at a venue that is also a restaurant, which will be an interesting thing to see how that plays out as the government eases restrictions selectively. But it also seems like there is some inconsistency about what is essential and what is not essential, and where places are allowed to go back with a greater number of people. But that's something we'll tackle together. Looking forward to celebrating 1 year with Sarah this coming Friday, and was hoping to go out to a nice restaurant to enjoy dinner together like we did a year ago. However, trying to figure out what is open, and we'll have seated table service. I think we might opt in for staying at home and enjoying our time together there this coming Friday evening. Probably end up cooking something like pizza and a nice bottle of wine as well. And Sarah has a sweet tooth, so I'll be thinking about what dessert to do. During COVID-19, realizing that I can capture and create content and I have the ability to do that, I've started a YouTube channel, got an advice from a friend at our engagement party to read a psalm a day with your fiance leading up to the wedding, because we can't be together as often as we would like, I decided to do that by recording videos to capture those and share those with Sarah during this time. The other thing that I've started is thinking about how to sell candles online and how to build an online store. That's also been part of the journey and the experience. I've always had a desire to figure what that looks like out, and looking forward to figuring that out in the months and years to come with Sarah. We're very early on in the journey with that at the moment, where it's testing, figuring out and experimenting at the moment. Small quantities, bought 10 things, 2 came broken, had 8 to be able to sell, and I've already sold 2 so far to friends and family. I didn't expect what this would be like, what COVID-19 restrictions would mean. I was hoping I would be able to grow out my hair and my beard for a fair while, but now I've realized that that's bugging me, that the hair's too long and touching my ears, so I'll be getting a haircut shortly. It's a interesting journey because we're not sure how much longer things will be going on for with working remotely, or if that will be a more permanent change to our routine and lives. And it's also been a struggle spending less time with Sarah because of the changing restrictions, changing time commitments for both of us in work, as Sarah works for a clothing retailer, and that's been something that has happened when stores have closed, having time off, where I've been busier at work. We've been negotiating together the contrasting time commitments, where Sarah has much less to do in terms of her usual responsibilities, whereas in many respects my responsibilities have increased, but realizing the importance of spending time together is something that we've been doing. Video calls with each other regularly each day, but it's also something that doesn't replace the face-to-face contact with each other and the face-to-face time where we really get to enjoy each other's company and spend time with one another. And one of my closing thoughts for this video log is a lot of the time has left me thinking about legacy, of what the future holds, and how creating video content is something that can help document it for the future and many future generations at a time, as well as scale my time when my time feeling like too much butter spread over not enough bread, spread very thinly, and what that looks like. But then realizing video content is something, once created, you can scale your time so that 1 hour can be shared with many people over and over again, which is something that I realized is quite powerful in terms of how scalable it will be. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and the sharing of the experience. Goodbye. Oh, I'm shooting this in my bedroom. I've got a nice picture, which is awesome. B was fortunate enough to come across Sean Cannell's Video Influencer Challenge, and I've also joined their Video Ranking Academy to learn more and explore more about that. But again, at the very start of the journey there with capturing video content. But that was one of the things that inspired me to make this video, to document what life is like at the moment amongst COVID-19 and how it's been impacting what I do and the routines and those around me and in my community. And if it's just a short memoir on video for now, it's also something that we can look back at 25 years down the track, as well as potentially, if I don't lose the recording, show this to children and grandchildren to show what life was like when I was 25 during this global pandemic.